we are back with another Black with No Cream podcast. New episode every single Wednesday and Sunday. I'm your host, Ben Haggerty, aka Ben Real Verse World, and today's guest is Morgan Cooper, an insanely talented director, DP, and writer who took the internet by storm with his viral Spec trailer, putting a modern spin on the classic show Fresh Prince of Bel Aire. Shortly after that, he followed it up with an amazing short film titled You Shoot Videos, telling the story of an aspiring filmmaker struggling to make it, which again went massively viral and impacted filmmakers all over the world. This interview is hands down one of the best we have ever done. Morgan is incredibly knowledgeable in all aspects of filmmaking and gives us a behind the scenes look into some of his biggest projects to date. Some of the things that we talk about in this episode are his early filmmaking days in his hometown of Kansas City, shooting local music videos and weddings while also working as a photo assistant to try to survive financially. The importance he placed on shooting spec work on the side of his career as a commercial DP, which eventually provided him with the stepping stone to transition into directing and writing. Getting to meet Will Smith after his Bel Air short film caught like wildfire, and the massive turn in his career that came from it, like getting signed to the agency CAA as a writer and director. The moment when a guy named Moji reached out to Morgan to work on set and ended up telling him a real life story that forced Morgan to drop everything and make the short film You Shoot Videos. His future plans to create more films and long form content and so much more. He dives into the value of focusing on your portfolio over money, the importance he places on creating things with intention, and the power of providing opportunity for the city you come from. I recommend that you sit down and take notes for this one, but if this is your first time tuning the podcast, you are probably wondering,
what the fuck is Black with No Cream?
Great question. Black with No Cream is the illest educational resource for content creators fueled by caffeine. Or at least I take my coffee black with no cream, but you can drink or not drink whatever caffeine you fuck with and still be a part of our community. We have thousands of members from all around the world working together by sharing content, asking for feedback, passing tips and tricks along to one another with the goal of pushing each other to become the best motherfucking content creators on earth. And you can join our private group if you want to by going to bwnc.com/join. We would love to fucking have you. Please join. All right, that's it. Enjoy the work week. Keep creating. Make sure to tune in every single Wednesday and Sunday for a new Black with No Cream podcast episode. And if you enjoy this episode, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, because every review helps this platform grow and reach new creators, which helps us continue to create this content every single day for you guys. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Black with No Cream. Subscribe to us on YouTube to access all of our educational content, and share this episode out with someone who needs it if you think it's helpful. You know what I'm saying? And without further ado, I bring to you my episode with Morgan Cooper in the most epic podcast intro ever created right motherfucking now.
Attention.
If you stop this podcast recording at any time, you will die.
I don't want to die.
Do you want to live?
Yeah.
You have 24 hours to share this podcast with 5 people or you will die.
I'm kidding, you won't die. You're just weak shit for not sharing.
And the winner of the best motherfucking podcast goes to...
Black with No Cream.
What do you think?
It's so fucking dumb and so fucking Ben Haggerty.
I knew you would say that. And we're back. The podcast is here. Morgan Cooper in the motherfucking building.
Thanks for having me, bro.
No, thank you for coming through, bro. You are a living legend right now. I don't know if you know this, but I gotta tell you, straight out the gate, do you shoot videos?
Do you shoot videos?
Do you shoot videos, man? No, I tripped on that video. Obviously, like everyone else in this filmmaking world, it's like going crazy. On Vimeo, someone posted it in our group. Actually, they shared it. They're like, "Yo, you gotta check this out." And I clicked on it. At first, I thought it was some random person, like their work. I'm like, okay, man, this thing's like 30 some minutes. And I started playing it, and just the beginning scene, I was like, yeah, been there. Dropped the Pelican case. Yep. Had to carry all that shit down the stairs. And I was blown away, bro. Like, thank you. I literally came here, I had so much stuff to do that day, and I just tuned in for like 40 minutes and just didn't look at my phone, I was just watching. I was like mesmerized, because the way you made that entire film blew my mind, bro. It was so good. And then for the end, to find out like this is based on a true story and all this stuff, it was incredible, man.
Thank you so much, bro. Yeah, really, that's a project just really from the heart, and just to let people know that it's really a shared experience of a lot of us who got our start in music videos, who are doing music videos, and just kind of finding their journey in the industry. And that's how I got started, man, was that kid dropping the Pelican case actually down that stairwell, because a little bit of a fact of that is Moji's apartment, right? In that was actually my first apartment.
Damn, are you serious?
Yeah, so I dropped stuff down that exact same staircase.
Yo, that's like the illest part about this world that we're in, is that you can literally do that. And like that fact might not come across, obviously people aren't gonna know, but I would assume it's based on your experience. But for you to go back and really recreate that, that's the illest shit ever.
Yeah, it was really surreal. It was like a really crazy 360 moment because, you know, that was my first apartment out of high school. Damn. You know, and you know, there were a lot of sleepless nights just trying to like pay my rent and survive. And so to come back, you know, years later,
right,
to film those moments in there, when we're looking for a location for Mojo's apartment, I was like, I want a place that looked like my old place. And I kept telling my producer that, and he's like, what was your old address? And so I gave my address in South Kansas City, and he hit them up. He's like, oh yeah, like it's taken care of. We're actually gonna film in that space. And it was so surreal, bro. It was unbelievable.
That's so sick.
Very cathartic. Yeah.
Damn. We'll get in. I want to get into that more, but like I really want to like to get to where you are. For people, I'll address it in the intro.
Sure.
But could you kind of shed light on like what you've been up to the last few years doing this professionally? Like, if people might not know what You Shoot Videos is, go on. Like, what would you consider yourself out here as a creator?
Yeah, absolutely. So prior to this year, I was working as a DP, so I was shooting commercials. And I wanted to pivot into writing, directing. So I was taking money I was making from commercials and pumping them into my own spec projects, my own shorts. And a short that I made that we released in March, it was called Bel Air, went viral, and that was a chance for me to officially pivot into writing, directing. So I signed with CA as a writer director, and
right out from that.
Yeah, right from that.
Damn.
And so that allowed me to make the pivot, and I'm really thankful. I'm really thankful for my foundation as a DP, and you know, prior to that, working as like a one-man band in these music videos, and it all really started with, you know, a Canon T2i that I bought on my 18th birthday. Yeah. You know, I spent every dollar I had on that thing. You know, the freezing cold, my pops loaned me extra 100, and really, you know, made a career from that little T2i.
Wow. So. It's so sick that, like, okay, so having watched You Shoot Videos, right? That comes out. Then I'm looking you up because I'm like, who the hell did this shit? Like, this is so good. Find the Bel Aire thing. Then it all clicks and makes sense. I'm like, damn, he did that back then. And I remember that taking over a wave. Everyone went crazy about that piece, right? Just like 3.5 minutes? Was it?
3.5 minutes.
But it was done so well, like so high end, so well. And it was like, yeah, this is like a fan piece, or this is like a recreation or whatever. And everyone starts sharing it around. You finally watch it, and it's just done so well. But it's like another level of art, because what's amazing about that, there was no one behind that, right?
Right.
That was just you on your own dime trying to make something, right?
Yeah, man.
Like that's I feel like people get away, like lose touch with, especially when you get out here and you start finding your niche. You may become DP doing music videos, and you're doing 300 music videos in a year, consistently working as a DP, and eventually you kind of lose track of going out and creating for yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the fact that you went out and created for yourself just changed your career.
Absolutely, man. Well, you know, I kind of became disillusioned when I was working as a DP because, you know, I wanted to pivot from commercials to features, you know, narrative content and TV. But like the stuff that would come across my desk, the scripts weren't stuff that I wanted to show. I wasn't really interested in the material. It was really hard to find good material with substance, you know, and stuff that I really felt like I had something to contribute. And so I started writing. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna make it. It's like I've got a really great foundation as a DP in terms of like the photography side of it, and from a storytelling side, you know, I really wanted to push myself and test myself, like as a writer and like as, you know, a director as well. And so I just started writing and saying, you know what, like I'm just gonna go out and do it myself. Like I can't wait forever to like get this stuff to come across my desk, so I gotta make it. Right. You see what I'm saying? You can wait forever, but you know, it's probably not gonna come across your desk, so you gotta get out there and put your money where your mouth is, really, you know.
How long do you feel like, how long have you actually been properly writing, like really investing into writing? When did that start for you?
Yeah, man, so it started with a project I shot called Room Tone. It was like my first short, you know, that I did, and it's a very simple like slice of life story about a sound guy, you know, in Kansas City. And I
watched it, I thought that, I low-key thought it was a joke, where at first it started and you go, all right, room tone, and then they held, and I was like, is this it for 15 minutes? Like if they do that, that's like the illest video. I literally skipped forward real quick just to double check, and then I watched, but it's a great film.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that. And you know, if you've seen, it's real simple, you know, and you know, I really feel like I've really grown since then as a writer and as a storyteller and pushing myself, and that's what it's all about. You know, it doesn't happen overnight. You know, with everything I do, I just want to continue to raise the bar every time and just get a little bit better every time I pick up the camera, and that's really the goal. So for the past 2 years is when I've really started taking interest and started to hone that side of my craft.
All of your pieces, narrative wise feel very, very, why is Siri just like listening to me on my computer? Stop doing that. They all feel very, very like real. Like there's something real about it in the sense of like you take a normal, like the jobs that aren't always glorified, right? Like a sound man, and this person just in their own zone, sitting down, has a dream and this and that, does their job very well, but you make it feel like I'm there and I've experienced that, or I know what that's like, and a lot of people don't look towards that, and you can turn that into a 13-minute piece that someone will want to watch the entire thing and live through that person's point of view for a little bit just to get an understanding of it. Or you shoot videos being from a kid that's just grinding it out by themselves. Everything seems to have like a huge chunk of realism in it.
Absolutely, man. That's something that's really, really important to me. I think what is the best storytelling is just expressing myself authentically. Like all these people, I feel like that's the through line of my work, is like in one way or another, a big part of me is in it, and the people in my life are in these stories. And so, you know, Room Tone, for example, you know, very, very simple film. It was based off a guy I was working with. He's a sound guy in my community who I was in Kansas City when I was working there as a DP. He was a guy who I'd work with named Larry.
Yeah.
And just experiencing him and the conversations we had and his passion for music and, you know, ex-musician. And, you know, I remember like, you know, he was literally doing Room Tone and the entire idea hit me at once. I was like, oh, I'm gonna tell Larry's story, you know?
Damn.
That's how it happened. Damn. So I think that's really why people feel it, is because it is coming from an authentic place. I'm not pulling this stuff out the sky. It's like, these are real situations and people that are in my life, you know?
Right. That's incredible, man. Going from like where you are right now in this position and it coming from this, like I feel so much of it from the Midwest. Yeah, you know what I mean? Being from Midwest, I'm like 5 hours from Kansas City. You know what I mean? Yeah. So seeing it and seeing you take it there, like the projects that you bring, you're bringing stuff to Kansas City. You're like Made. You had Made Mob in your stuff, and I watched that, and like my homie Sky had sent me so much Made stuff when I was on tour, and I'm like, oh shit, like. That's so ill. Like,
I know you don't Made Mob.
Yeah, I know those guys. Like, they would send me stuff early when I was with Schoolboy Q and stuff, and they sent me. Yeah, I have all kinds of Made stuff.
It's so dope, ridiculous. Man. Shout out all of them cats, man. Mark, all of them, man.
But you show love to that. You really show love to the city and like what the city is and the people that like the best part about the Midwest is the Midwest dreamers, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much power in these individuals that are kind of stuck in this spot that's like an island to them just because we're so far from it.
That's right.
The dream, you know?
You're so right, man. There's so much talent that comes out the Midwest. I mean, you're a testament to that. You really are. And I know so many people who are working on the coast, you know, from Kansas City, from these places in the Midwest. But I think the next level is like bringing the talent back and making sure like we build industry in the Midwest. And it's not just like all of these people transplanting and leaving and succeeding out here and then that's it. You see what I'm saying? And watch repeat with the next generation. It's like, what can we do to like build where we're from? You know, and that's something that's really important to me. And I see like the next part of my career is to build industry in my city, because my city's got some talent, bro. Yeah. So much talent, and they just need an outlet. They need infrastructure, and like I want to be able to provide that, you know. So
do you, I mean, having done how many shoots have you done in Kansas City? Like going back after you've left Kansas City, going back, how often have you been there?
Not as often as I'd like. You know, I went and shot You Shoot videos. Let's see, we shot You Shoot videos the first week of July is when we did that.
Oh, okay, word.
And we shot in 4 days.
Damn, that was in 4 days?
We shot all that in 4
days,
man. Yeah.
Jesus. And cover some ground.
Yeah, we did, man. Yeah, we a lot of pages to shoot, but we got it done. So, and unfortunately, I haven't been able to shoot anything since then. But
being there, like during those 4 days, were you able to provide, like, you hire locally? I would imagine we did. Most of the people were hired locally.
All local.
Everyone was local,
except for our lead Denzel Whitaker. All the talent, Kansas City, all the crew, Kansas City. Denzel Whitaker came from LA to join us on it. So.
Did you find the opportunity to like maybe outside of people who do it for the job, maybe there's Grip and Electric people that do that professionally, but were you offering opportunities to, you know, inspiring creatives that had known about you or anything like that? Were you able to put people on in that way?
Oh, absolutely, man. Yeah, there was a lot of youngsters that came on the shoot just to learn. You know what I mean? Learn to get their hands, step in the playground. You know, which is important. You know, I feel like that's where it all starts, is for them to be able to like see these things in action. It's one thing to like watch the piece, but like how do they make it? But like to be on set and to get that hands-on experience and learn, I think is invaluable. And so were able to find opportunities to bring a lot of these youngsters in Kansas City like on this project for them to learn. So
that's so sick. I feel like I remember like growing up, I was so it's so limited, right? And I just remember like Field of Dreams was shot like 50 minutes from me. You know what I mean?
It was?
Yeah, the Yankees are playing there.
Damn,
next
bro.
year, I think. Like they're coming back and playing a game and building out a stadium around it. It's so crazy. But like you drive by. I drive by it all the time when I go snowboard. And you just drive by it on the highway, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, but to think like, damn, a whole movie production was shot there. But you don't understand what that means. You're just like, that's Hollywood, kinda. It came here, and that's inspiring to know that it was here. And then to like Twister was like the other film. It was like all over the Midwest, but like that was it. Like that was the only thing that would be like inspirational. But for you to come back and put on a production in your city, to go back to your original apartment, like just like for someone to tag along and see that experience, or now look at it and maybe they weren't a part of your production,
right,
but there's someone that's in your shoes 5 years ago that's looking at the fact that you were on that bridge. Like every day they drive to their job and they pass the bridge and they see the shot where you did, you know, wherever you shot someone there, or they see whatever, any of those shots that are from your film, like, man, he really did that, you know. And then to look you up and find all this information, that's so inspiring to me.
Yeah, thank you, fam. Thank you. And that's what it's really all about, is because like, once again, it's like I didn't start off, you know, in some glamorous position as a filmmaker. I mean, it was it was like literally T2I, like, you know, the Trap House, like shooting a music video. Like that was like where we started, you know. And so like to see some of the young cats, it's kind of like what did Jay-Z say? Like he went through that, so hopefully he ain't got to go through that. Yeah. Like, you know, I want to be in a position to where like, you know, a young black woman who's, you know, 18 years old can come out of school and like have an opportunity to like step into a production, you know, with some infrastructure. You know what I mean? They don't have to bump their head like I bump my head a lot.
Man,
you see what
tell
I'm saying?
me about it.
I'm sure a lot of the experience I've had, shared experiences that you've had as well, and a lot of people in your community of just like trying to figure it out with no plan, no schooling or anything like that, literally just trying to like get better every single day. And so to be able to provide opportunities and to let them know that, hey, like I did it, it's possible. Like you can do this. You know what I mean? I was you yesterday. Like you can do this. Like that means everything to me, bro. It's like if all we do, fam, is just make stuff and like it doesn't extend beyond that, we're not encouraging or inspiring anyone to like make something meaningful and actionable for them to like further their experience, like as a creative, then like we're not really doing anything. Well,
and the best part about it to me, and can you scoot closer to the mic?
Oh yeah, of course,
so people hear you in HD quality,
my bad.
HD audio.
This is a cool film.
Yeah, this is great. Thank you. But to have like, to also create the way you push your stories from real life into your work. You know what I mean? To share, it's not one thing to like just go shoot for some brand or shoot for with some celebrity or something like that, but to tell a real story out of it. That's like the most meaningful. The boxing one you did, it was
Invitation.
Was that a music video?
Yeah. So
which is so sick because you just like hide a music video in this short film.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Thank you, bro.
But like just that, like you feel all of that. That feels. It's no different than me watching the shit with what's his name, with what the fuck is that? What's the boxing movie that came? Huh? Not Rocky, the other one.
Oh, Creed.
It's like you made a miniature version of that feels so real. When we watch a movie like Creed and any of these, they're literally made to make us feel emotional and feel like we're ready to go. Like we want to watch in January 1, so we feel like we're gonna be legends all 2020. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
thank
like
you, man.
you really impact that. But you tell stories. Like you see someone going through it and with their family watching them, and the was his brother, his son.
Yeah, his brother and his son.
You know what I mean? It's like feeling like. There's realness in that, and that just I don't know. It just transcends so well to a viewer. Like especially when I was watching you shoot videos, and I think this plays a big part into why it made so much sense for all these creators to see it resonate and share it and be like, oh my god, is because you watch it, and as I'm watching, I'm just like, oh yep, been there. Damn, been there. Don't do it. Don't text. Don't say yes to the rate. You know what I mean? Like you see all this stuff. It's just so tough. But like, all right. So go back to, you said you got your camera when you were 18.
Yeah.
So prior to 18, like, what was your childhood like? Like, what when did early things adapt into you being creative, like through family and friends or whatever, or was childhood like for you?
Yeah, man. Very, very modest upbringing. No real creatives in my family. Just hardworking people.
Right.
But at the same time, I always felt like I had a knack towards creative things. I was always interested in art, and at a really early age, I was drawing and stuff like that. But I didn't really know this was a career, honestly, until after high school. Like, I didn't come out even when I bought my camera. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with it. All I knew is that, I wasn't going to work at Price Chopper, and
what's that?
It's like a grocery store.
Oh, okay, right.
I wasn't going to, do that. Like, I wanted to make a living with my art.
Right.
In one way or another. And my goal was to really just buy this camera and figure it out. But yeah, growing up, man, I loved films. Like, that was something that was really important to me. And like all the films that I grew up watching, I think of like Juice. That was like the first time like I like really saw craft. When I watched Juice and I saw Ernest Dickerson do his thing through that film and see Pac on screen and Omar Epps, I was like, whoa, I didn't know what it was, but that was the first time like I like saw craft in filmmaking. I'm like, I'm feeling something here. Like, there's something about the way he's capturing that that's making me feel this way. I don't know why. So that kind of piqued my interest. That was like kind of a gateway. And later, I learned that, Ernie was the guy who shot Ernest Dickerson, who directed Juice. He shot all of, Spike's early films, like Do the Right Thing.
I did not know that.
Yeah, Malcolm X. Like, that was Ernest Dickerson. And so, coming full circle in this, like, he started out as a cameraman, ended up as a director and a storyteller from that standpoint. And that's something that's been my career trajectory as well, which is really, really cool. So seeing Ernest Dickerson's early work and Spike's early work and like Shaft, like that's the shit we watched. Like, was like Shaft in Africa, I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, like Menace to Society, like that's Set It Off, like that's what we watched. And so like I really Belly, I feel in all the music videos, of course, that we grew up on, right? So all of that stuff growing up, I think has been embedded in my meta as I create in the stories I want to tell. So
was there any classes in high school that you would take that were like photojournalism or anything that put cameras in your hands that made you decide later that I should at least have a camera?
Yeah, you know what's interesting, man? I took a journalism class in high school, and there's a photo side of it, but I never picked up the camera in high school, which is really interesting. I was actually more interested in the writing side of it. And so once again, it's the bug that kind of hit me later. When I got that Canon T2i though, and you felt depth of field for the first time, like you're racking through the lens.
Rack focusing on everything on your salt shaker on
for no
table.
reason.
Yeah,
that's right.
Like,
yeah,
nice.
So I'm gonna go outside and I'm gonna point at this flower and just rack to the back. You know what I mean? It's like
that's everybody with their first DSLR.
100%.
Like, okay,
it's magic.
Yeah,
it literally feels like magic, bro. And so I caught the bug right away, and I was like, oh man, like I felt like my whole life led up to holding that camera. Man.
That's so crazy. So you were working at a grocery store leading up to that? Is that how you were like stacking your bread?
So when I was in high school, man, I think it was either my senior or sophomore year, I picked up a job at this place. It's called a Price Chopper. Yeah. I got fired after like 2 months though.
Damn.
I just couldn't. It just wasn't for me.
Pack the bags.
Yeah, I couldn't, man. Like my head was in the clouds. I didn't do great in high school. At the time, funny enough, I was actually making beats too.
Really?
Yeah, I was making beats on GarageBand.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, fam. So like I had this little like, I think it's called like a Kai. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. The little like the machine.
Yeah. It's right. Like the Kai. I had a little drum machine, so I was making all these beats and stuff like that. So that's where my focus was. So I think that's in terms of going back to being creative as a youngster. Like music was also a really important gateway. I feel
absolutely.
I drummed. I made all these beats as well. So yeah, fam.
That's so crazy.
Yeah,
I feel like it's interesting to hear that like just the music side of it, because through your work, like through the stuff I see, the music drives it so hard when it needs to, but also you let the actual room tone or the space play like it feels very, very real. It sounds very real. You know what I mean? Like you can really like bring, I don't know, the aura of the space to life with that. So your attention to detail with that is super key. Also your lighting ability, bro.
Thank you, man.
The way you make skin look is through the roof. I don't understand that shit.
Yeah, thank you, man. That's something that's really, really important to me, and kind of going back to some of the the influences that I had growing up in like the films I was watching, and also influences that I really tapped into later, looking at the works of like Gordon Parks, Roy De Carava, like these photographers these were photographers who were capturing black life in America before there was before it was trendy,
right?
Like they had, right. You feel me? It's like through their work you really have like sometimes like the only perspective and the only glimpse into like black life at that time, in New York, and Gordon, capturing through Life magazine, like all across America, like capturing black people in the way they captured our humanity, and it wasn't just like a prop, like this human this is like a human being, and their humanity deserves to be three-dimensional and captured with affection and love, and so that's really, really important to me when I photograph someone. It's like they're trusting you.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? It's like they're not looking at the monitor. They have to focus on their performance, and with that, to like let them know, hey, I care about you. Like, I'm gonna make sure your humanity's captured. I got you.
Right.
I'm not just gonna throw light on you for no reason. It's
Love
like
that.
I'm gonna make sure that you're shaped, the way that captures your humanity, and shaped in a very honest way through how I light you, through how I capture you, through the angle of my camera. It's gonna be authentic. It's gonna be from the heart.
I love that. How did you find them as inspiration early on? Like, what did you have anyone around you that kind of like brought content to you or motivation, like in a way that was like, yo, you should check out this photographer's work? Or how were you just scrubbing the internet trying to find stuff that motivated you?
So it's really interesting. I think a part of it was just like was just growing, not only as like a creative, but just as a man. You know, quite frankly, it's like when you're starting out 18 years old and just trying to figure it out, you're scrubbing Vimeo, and you're just scrubbing like, what's hot,
right?
Like, what's gonna get me hired? You know, if I do this, and I found myself, I'm like, well, you know, I could never be this person. Like, their voice is unique to them. And so like, as I started getting older and maturing, you know, in my craft, you know, I said, you know what, I need to tap into stuff that's authentic with me. So I really started to go back into like what I was watching growing up, like what interests me growing up, like what are the things I cared about. I started really tapping into things that were around me, and ultimately, like, that's what makes us unique. Like, your experiences growing up in Iowa are unique to you. You driving past the Field of Dreams, like, that is embedded in your meta.
Facts.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you capture something, like, that's through the lens, the conversations you have with your grandparents, and like all of your history, right? And so me learning more about my history, you know, why do I have this T2I in my hands? Like, who's the first photographer? Like, who are the black photographers that paid the, you know? And I started just doing research and learning about Gordon Parks,
so
you know, and Roy Day Carruth. I didn't learn this stuff in high school. They weren't teaching us this in high school. So you really have to dig. And so I just started really tapping into my culture at a grassroots level of like, who are the forefathers of why I'm even here, and found so much inspiration that's very, very present in my work today.
That's so sick. So when you got your camera, you start shooting, you're back focusing on everything that exists. And then when did you start everything that exists?
Like
the flowers,
the salt shaker, bro.
Yeah, I had, you know, salt and the pepper. I was one to next.
Yeah. That's right, yeah.
When did you start using that to start creating content that you were like, you know, kind of gravitating towards, whether it was short film? Like, what was some of the first work you were starting to do? Were you immediately looking for jobs with that camera, or were you just like, I'm just gonna see what I do with this? Like, what can I do? Photographs, video? What were you drawn to?
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, initially, you know, once again, it was music videos. Then I like was tapping into weddings, and that was more of like, I'm trying to survive. You know, I remember being 18, fam. Like, you know, I was giving blood, like, you know, like donating plasma and stuff like that.
I did that same thing.
I mean, dude, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, I got this music video that I'm doing for $200. My rent's $500. I got a supplement.
That's crazy.
You see what I'm saying? Like, it was real.
I know.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, I got to make a little bit more money. So, you know, I started to like kind of drift away from like the $200 music video thing, and was you know, photo assisting, or trying to get into like photo assisting, and that's what I was doing. And that was really my first introduction into like light and like seeing how light was captured. But I really noticed on like these jobs I was photo assisting, like all the talent was white. You know what I'm saying? It was like very like homogenous scene, and I was like, you know, like, I'm interested in like capturing the stories of other communities, my community,
right?
You know what I mean? And like lighting and crafting these images around people that look like me. You know what I'm saying? And so that was really my first like, oh, like, I want to do something different. You see what I'm saying? And so through that, started really getting interest in like doing my own, even through like the music videos and like the Spec projects I wanted to shoot. I was like, oh, like, I want to tell stories. You see what I'm saying? Like, who's going to tell my cousin's story? Right. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So like through, you know, doing these different jobs and doing these weddings of just kind of like the same wash and repeat thing, I was like, I'm ready to get away from this and like tap into something more real. And so I think that's why people really feel like the energy in my work is because it comes from a pure place of just like so desperately wanting to tell these stories and express these ideas, you know?
And the executions is that like the high, like you could tell it's just pure focus the entire way through, which is incredible.
Thank you, man.
So when did you decide to move to LA?
So I actually moved to LA not too long, 6 months ago.
6 months ago?
Yeah, I was living in Kansas. I was working at Kansas City before that. Yeah, man.
This guy out here signing this, who? CA?
Yeah.
That's dope.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. It's a blessing, man.
So you were doing everything remote, Kansas City.
Yeah. That was my home base.
And then where were you doing like let me scroll through. It was like early on in your reel. It's like there's like early work. Everything was shot in Kansas City, like your early stuff, or were you coming out here?
No, I was coming out here quite a bit. I was really all over, man. Most like 95% of my work was outside of Kansas City, but it was a great home base, you know, and that's another cool thing about creating out of the Midwest is like you're close to everywhere. You're 3 hours from both coasts. You can get to Texas. I was doing work in Texas, Florida, all over, man, you know, and you can get there within usually 3 hours, you know, 3.5 hours, fam. So it was a great place to base out of. You know, I still got my place out there right now and all my gear that I don't really use anymore because, you know, I'm not shooting.
That's right so now, crazy. So is it to you, would you say like existing in Kansas City, trying to first start kind of building your clientele, like what was the process difficult, like, or was it just kind of word of mouth because you're putting your ideas on screen and you're uploading it and people are starting to see the work at first before like the Bel Aire thing, like who are your clients at that point? Like how are you starting to kind of find your footing and get introduced to like the scene? For
sure, the word of mouth, man. That's big. Yeah, for sure. And spec work, like I'll be honest, like the spec work was big, and there's a lot of stuff that, you know, is no longer on my Vimeo page, but it's stuff that I was just making and showing people and, you know, developing agency interest through like these spec pieces I was doing, and they were seeing the work and say, oh, like this young guy is like a take, you know, like he's got something that's fresh, you know. I'm not saying it's, I don't believe in like, you know, the terms like best, or it's just like everybody expresses art differently. So like just doing anything I could to show people my style, like, and how I approach creative, right? And so it was really just shooting a lot of spec work at first, you know.
So like walk me through something, like give me an example of a spec that maybe you did with this full strategy. Like were you thinking, all right, cool, I'm gonna do this, I don't know what kind of spec you might have been creating, like a car commercial or something, but the intention of I'm going to create this because I'm targeting this person. I want to show this person my work or these people my work so I could potentially like leverage that, because I don't think a lot of people understand the ability of what a spec piece can do for you.
Yeah, for sure. So I was shooting a lot of stuff for the NFL, and I got that gig through these, you know, a few spec fitness pieces that I was doing. And so, you know, this like high intensity, like kind of like feels like Nike or stuff that you'd see with Under Armour. Like I was shooting, you know, those types of pieces, and like that's what generated the conversation of like, you know, hey, there's interest in you doing this thing. Like, do you have anything in that vein? Oh, I do. You see what I'm saying? If I didn't shoot those pieces and I had nothing to show, there's no way I'd be hired for that. You know what I mean? They won't take that risk. They'd rather search for somebody who has that in their reel. So.
Yeah, right, like right away. So was it kind of in the sense of, were you partnering with like local fitness programs or companies that could also benefit from you doing the spec work, or was it like solely I'm going to search this out, I'm going to find these people I could work with and create this idea that I have in my head just to get it out there, and I'm going to run with it because it's a low lift maybe for you?
No,
cost-wise.
Super good question. So on one of them, I did partner with a guy in town who, you know, had a little apparel brand, and it was like, oh, like I'm looking to do like, and I'm like, well, here's the thing, like I'll do it, but can you just let me like run free and like I won't charge you? You know what I mean? Right. And we did, and the piece turned out pretty good. And I got a lot of work off that. That's the great thing about a strong portfolio, man, is like, and the reason why it's so important to have work and shoot spec work on your own, it's like that's an investment that never runs out. Right. You see what I'm saying? That never depreciates in value. Right. You know, you could buy a piece of gear and like it depreciates in value, but like if you've got a great portfolio, you can make money forever with it. You see what I'm saying? True. So that's why spec work is what I think. And that's just like one example. Like I was shooting all kinds of food stuff. You know, there was a point where I was shooting a lot of different food stuff, and you know, I did some spec projects, like shooting food, like just very simple recipe videos to show people that this is something I can do. You know?
Is where the rack focus practice came in.
Yeah, exactly, fam. Yeah, you know.
But that's so true, because I mean, if you think about it in the Midwest, or those bigger brands that are solely look like, I mean, you think of any major brand that makes food, like they'll spend a ton of money because they're looking for people that are gonna make their product look as glamorous as possible.
For sure, man.
Is it? Do you feel like it's do you have the upper hand in a way? Like I guess living in LA, right? Costs are so expensive. New York, whatever major city you look at, life to live is so expensive that everyone kind of relies on the day check. Like they're gonna go put in the work and try to find the day job thing, which allows them to kind of be scared of taking 4 days of solely focusing on one of their own ideas as a spec piece. Living in the Midwest, costs are a little bit more affordable, which could allow you to budget yourself to be able to go create a spec piece.
True, man.
But do you feel like that gives you the upper hand by being there? I mean, to me, it's like, I would love to live in Iowa and be able to stay relevant with it. I mean, obviously the podcast makes it way more harder, but to be able to pop out, you're right. You were in the middle. It takes you minimal time to get out to each side. of the coast.
Absolutely.
And costs are lower, so you really can experiment a little bit more, in my opinion, I guess.
Absolutely, man. No, that's these are, first and foremost, like, this is one of the coolest interviews I've done. Like, the
really?
question, yeah, your questions are just really, really thoughtful and not
tight.
cookie cutter. It's just really dope. That's such a good question. Yeah, man. Like, I'm so thankful to be from Kansas City and to have worked from Kansas City. Like, that gave me, I feel like, a huge advantage in terms of cost of living at first. You know, my first apartment was $500 a month.
Yep.
You know, you can't find that in
Nope.
LA. You know,
Hey, you probably could.
Oh, you probably could.
Is
But
it tight?
It'd probably be like a roommate situation or something like
Yeah.
that. You know, it wasn't big, but like I had a little apartment. You
Yeah.
know, I had my space. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And so to be able to only have to make $500 instead of, you know, $2K maybe if you're
plus everything else. You know what I mean?
100%. That was a huge advantage, and that took a lot of pressure off me. Like, I still had to make that rent, but
Right.
at the same time, it's like I could develop a footing there. So yeah, that was a tremendous advantage, and also why I feel like if anybody's watching and you're based in the Midwest or someplace that isn't like New York and LA, like, that's okay. Like, with the internet, like, you still have ways and platforms to get your work out there. So don't worry about that. Like, really tap into your community. And there are advantages to not living on the coast, especially when you're starting out. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, very good point, fam. Yeah.
I would always get pissed that I lived in Iowa because I wanted to live in Kansas City for the sole, like, just to be by that airport, because flying there is so cheap from LA. Like, I almost always consider flying there before flying to Iowa first, just because I'm like, you know, save a quick 200 real quick if I'm flying to here, and it's direct. Like, that's right. So clutch.
That's a great flight, man.
It is.
Flight.
I
So
know.
Where you fly?
I don't know where. Last time I flew there was for Chris Brown's tour kicked off there.
Okay.
And I don't remember who we flew with. I was delusional. Hadn't slept in like a couple of days or whatever.
Oh,
but
okay.
I think it was American Airlines.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
Is there a hub there?
There?
Is that a hub? Kansas City a hub? Who knows?
Yeah.
Who cares? We're not, no free promo out here for these airlines, yo.
Yeah, right.
But I fly Delta. No, I always like kind of just living here. The struggle is always like, home is where the heart is. You know what I mean? Like,
that's right.
you really look at it like I miss being around my family and the scenery there. Like, when I go home, if I can catch Iowa in the summer, it looks like a movie. Out here, it's LA. Obviously, sometimes we get those crazy skies and like you get the stuff, and we're in LA. But like, there's something about being in the Midwest that is motivating, and I miss it. And it's like tough because there's so much out here, opportunity wise, that you have to live here, where it gives you an opportunity. You know, you be running into someone that could become your partner for the next 10 years. And you didn't even know it because you ran into him at this space in LA. But, you know, same thing could happen in the Midwest. But I feel like everyone does fear. I felt this. And it's interesting to hear your perspective of like bringing work back to the Midwest. Yeah. My fear was always like, I got to go. Right. Because I saw no opportunity. I guess for you now living in LA, what made you kind of pull the trigger to come here? Like,
yeah, man. You know, I'd been thinking about, because I was going back and forth so much for DP work, you know, and I was thinking about, for like several years, I was like, man, I should make the leap. You know, I was in a long-term relationship in Kansas City, and, you know, I had a real life. Like, I built a life out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was home, and, you know, when I signed with CA, and the business in terms of like scripted work that I'm doing, it's like it all gets done here.
Yeah.
You know, all of the meetings I have to take, and my agents were sending me out on these meetings, and you know, all these generals that my manager said. So it's just like, I got to be here. I can't continue to go back and forth every week, because that takes a toll on your health if you're constantly on a plane. You know what I mean? It's just like, it was just time, and I always felt like that. I'm like, I'll know when it's time. You know, and it was time, and I love living out here, man. It's a beautiful place.
It is.
But at the same time, like you said, man, there's no place like home, and ultimately we need people to come back to these places if it's ever going to change.
Yeah.
If it's not, in 10 years, there will be no infrastructure. You know, there might not be any infrastructure in Kansas City if like I don't take it upon myself to like at least try and build it and bring projects there and bring opportunities back home. It's like, who would I be to just like, oh, thank y'all, like I'm out. You feel me? It's like Bel Air. I mean, half of Bel Air was that piece I did was in Kansas City with Kansas City talent. Right. It's a Kansas City project.
Crazy. That's crazy.
You see what I'm saying? That was done in Kansas City, and that shook the world.
The whole,
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Done in Kansas City, bro. So
that's inspiring.
The Midwest, man. Midwest stand up.
Well, that's why I want. I feel so called to like create this platform, Black with No Cream. It's like, you know, to see people hit me up as I like continue to tour and work with different people, and you know, you get those messages all the time from these aspiring creatives, and I'm like, man, that's me. That was me for a fact. Like,
bro.
I have those emails. Like, I have these people I try to hit up and get no responses from, and I know what it's like to be starving for information and to feel secluded.
Yeah.
And so to be able to at least create a digital version of it where it's like, yo, you might not be able to pull up to a room with a bunch of creatives like I could right now, but we can do it online and still connect just as well, because that's all I had before, you know? And still, it's like, even now, it's like saying you need to be in a specific space to create is bullshit, in the sense of there's people creating in London. Well, why aren't we there? You know what I mean? Why do I have to come to LA? Like, everyone's still getting it done. People are still making waves. Like, you literally shook shit up with a link. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
one link to a video, MP4 file that was uploaded to Vimeo, or a QuickTime file. I don't know what you did, but like being able to upload that and then really make a wave, that's pretty incredible. I want to go back to DPing though. So when you started doing more, you did your work as like, you know, music videos and T2I. When did you kind of upgrade your gear? And then would you say, like, what kind of music videos did you start doing? Were you doing like higher level music videos, or didn't you just kind of cut that throat before?
Yeah, I was really after some very crazy situations that I'm still working on it, you know.
What?
Some I can't, I won't get into specifics on some of the things that I saw in the music video days, in the very early days, man. But like, it was just time for me to like separate myself from that world, you know.
But was it like local Kansas City stuff?
Yeah,
or?
it was all local Kansas City. Well, it's funny, I was doing a little bit of travel stuff as well, but it would be like, I would pack as much gear as I could into 2 backpacks and go to Virginia or something like that. You know what I mean? It was very, very, very scrappy. Yeah, fam. Like that definitely wasn't a career path that like I continued to like pursue. Right. You know. But can you go back to your?
Yeah. Well, I guess just like, because I look at it from a DP standpoint, it's like you really mastered the camera and then started telling your own stories. Right. But even when you're telling your story, I still feel like it looks like, from research I was doing right after, you still shoot a lot. Are you shooting a lot, or you have a DP shooting for you? Yeah,
man. I mean, these days I'm really
taking to it.
Yeah, I'm putting down the camera, man, which is kind of hard. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like it's a foundation that has really helped me become a more effective director. Mm-hmm. You know, knowing that I could communicate my vision to a DP, like at a granular level, I could talk about how I want my light to feel. Right. You know, how I want the visual language and the camera movement and like augmentations of like this and that. It's like I can get very, very specific, and that gives them a smaller target to hit. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's helpful.
That foundation is extremely important. But yeah, man, in terms of gear, it's really interesting, bro. Like I was doing like the gear flip for years. Yeah. Right. And so I took the T2I, like I made a little bread. Yeah. Sold that, got a 60D. Yeah. Made a little bread, the Blackmagic 2.5, like the original one. Yeah. That came out.
The thick ass one?
Yeah, the thick ass one. Yeah, the little box.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
The worst interface. That has the worst interface.
Terrible interface, but yo, that
crispy
is incredible.
And still, everyone's been rocking the new one, the little pocket.
It's beautiful.
It looks crazy.
It's beautiful. Like you don't need none of that, dude. Right. Like just get 5 of those. Right. Like seriously.
He's about to tell us what he got after that. Just get that.
It's all about lighting.
Yeah, anyway. It is.
Like it's all about light.
Right.
So I sold the 60D, flipped that, got the Blackmagic 2.5K. Yeah. You know, I was working off that, and then the Scarlet W's. You remember the Scarlet W's came out? Yeah. Bought my first Ray.
Damn.
You see what I'm saying?
That's crazy. That's an investment though.
It was an investment.
What were they back then? Like 40 for a body or something?
No, they were less than that. I think the Scarlet W's might have been 20.
Really?
Yeah, when the Scarlet W's first came out. But before that, I got it was the Ursa Mini, the original Ursa Mini 4K. Okay. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, so I was working off that a little bit, and I was just flipping, man.
Were your clients, did you notice client appeal to, and maybe this is locally, but like just the fact that you came equipped with the gear, like specific gear? Like, you know, some people I think fear the gear makes them look cheap, or like I said as an example the other day, I did this campaign for Need for Speed, and I shot it on an A7S2. I didn't have to. I had a budget, but I purposely wanted to use that camera for specific tasks I needed to complete during that day. Yeah. The camera's great. Quality worked really well for what I needed to do, and we lit it well, and it looked great, and that was all we needed. But in some cases, people feel pressured. I've dealt with it where people are like, well, we have to get 2 camera operators. We need to get the Red Dragons. We need to get all this stuff. And I'm like, no, we don't. What? For what? To shoot a documentary? To sit in a studio all day and you just want to run it on a Red in 6K, the fans, while the artist is talking to someone? Like, That's, you know what I mean? People, but they feel obligated to have, you know what I'm talking about, don't you?
You said the fans?
The fans and the fucking battery changes.
Yo, them fans ain't a joke, bro.
Oh my God, the fans are noisy, but it's like that, you know what I mean? There's reasons why people get gear for certain things, but some people feel very pressured to have nice gear for a client, but also clients feel like they'll invest more into someone who has nice gear.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I definitely felt pressure, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'd be lying if I said didn't. Yeah, I definitely felt pressure. You know, it's a show. That's the thing about like production. It's like, and it's silly and it shouldn't be like this. And granted, like when you get to a certain point, like that goes out the window, but especially starting out and coming up, man, it's the show. These clients, they want to feel like they're on a big movie, you know, and they want all the toys and stuff like that. So it becomes this show that it shouldn't be like that. It should all be about what's on screen, but unfortunately it's not the world we live in. And so I definitely felt pressure, man. But I will say, you know, I got my hands in the red. One thing that did provide is like I was able to like really charge that kit fee. And that's when, you know, real money, like I was starting to really make some real money, you know, because like they pay for my rate plus my camera, you know. And with that, like I will say like that really put me at a really good place financially. You know, for the first time, like I was really able to like plan some stuff in my life,
right?
You know what I mean? But yeah, man, it's unfortunate because there's so many young cats out here who have like still like you know a 60D or some of these rebels who are making stuff. I mean, incredible stuff. You see what I'm saying? And deserve some bigger looks than they're getting. But unfortunately, it's like the tools and all the politics with that, man. It's kind of nonsense.
It's so grimy. It's such a bummer.
Very grimy. Yeah.
It's such a bummer because at the end of the day, the only people that see that are the client that's in the room, and that's it. And then the picture that's captured is what gets seen by everyone else. Yeah, and it really doesn't matter, in my opinion, like how you get it done. We should know what we need. But even that, it's like I remember building out the Sonys with, you know, a whole rig and everything I needed. Yeah. But I can get it done stripped. I could literally shoot on a Sony stripped by itself, but I would build it out just for the appeal to make them feel like I was all right. Well, good thing we spent money on this guy. And then eventually I'm just like, it doesn't matter. Like the work speaks for itself at this point. So it's like stripping it apart. But I feel like that's a huge fear. Charging a kit fee, because we also started talking about that as well, because so many people question like how to make more money with the clients, and we like wrote a whole guide on it, and we talked about like creating line items for people and to understand that. Did you kind of was it a slow transition for you to realize like, all right, my rate is, you know, for whatever reason $1, but I see other people having, like this person got hired and they don't even own their own red. So, but they had a red that day. So how did they get that red? Oh, the client was willing to pay an additional fee to get that red so that this person who's really good with the red could shoot on it. Like how quickly did you realize like, oh, I could capitalize on that? Very
quickly, man. So for about a year when I didn't own a red, like all these jobs that I would get hired to shoot, we would rent.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So like there were a few cats in these markets I was shooting at who would get these reds from, and you know I'm looking at how much money is from it. I'm like, well, I want to be making that money.
Yeah, exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So I'm getting the cost of like, you know, my fee for my labor and my rate, but so I'm like, oh, this makes good business sense. And you know, within like half a year, it paid itself off. The camera paid itself off, and so at that point, it's just profit, right? And so after about a year of all of that money going elsewhere, I said, you know, I want to tap into this, and you know, it's all investment at the end of the day, and they're just tools.
Right.
That's the biggest thing about them. It's not about that was just strictly business decision.
Yeah,
you know,
smart.
I'm very agnostic when it comes to cameras. I think they all look really, really good.
Yeah.
You know, I think they all have the capability to look incredible. Even the DSLRs still, I mean, they look amazing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, everything looks good. It's about who's behind it. So if it makes good business sense, like I said, go for it. Get that bread, you know, get the bags.
Love that.
Yeah.
So when you get to the Bel Air point, you started writing that how early before you shot it?
Let's see. Started writing Bel Air.
And what was the inspiration behind it? Like, just obviously Fresh Prince is the shit. At what point were you just like, it came to you?
Yeah, it did, bro. That's the only way to put it, man. It was such a pure idea. I was literally in Kansas City. I was driving down 71. I remember the moment it hit me, and the idea all at once hit me. I said, "Oh my God! Like I got it. Like I've got to do it." And it wasn't like kind of like a clout chasing thing. all. Like there was no like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna get popping, blah blah blah.
We'll see it.
Yeah, 100%, fam.
Right.
Like it was at the time, you know, I was making great money as a cinematographer living in Kansas City. Like I loved my life. Like, I loved everything I was doing. It was just a pure thing that I had to express. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And once it hit me, and I called my producer John and said, dude, I got this idea. I have to make this thing. You see what I'm saying? It's like, all right, like I don't know how we're gonna make it because like this is gonna cost $500,000 or whatever.
Right.
I'm like, just trust me, like I got it. And so I wrote the outline, and you know, we ended up making it for like $20K. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah, we made it for $20K, and we just got to work on it. And so
half of it was shot in KC.
Half of it was shot in Kansas City.
Wow.
All the interiors, literally all the interiors were shot in Kansas City.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man. So
that's crazy. It's so good.
Thank you, fam. Thank you, bro.
Everyone a part of it was it killed it.
Oh yeah, tremendous. And that's another thing about like, don't sleep on Kansas City actors. Kansas City actors, nothing to play with. Like I'm talking about some really finely trained actors who once again aren't getting the looks. So like I want to get them those opportunities because they deserve it, man. Of course. Some incredible actors have been putting in work for a long time.
How do you go about finding the proper crew in Kansas City as well as the actors? Like how are you finding them? How did you go about doing that?
Yeah, you know, so by that point I was really well into the like everybody just knows everyone after a while because you're working all these commercials and you're crewing up, and so all those people for the most part were people I'd worked with before, and once again like opportunity to bring on some young cats as well who were just interning essentially on the shoot and just learning in these departments and learning from really experienced department heads. And so by that time I was, you know, in cahoots with pretty much everyone on set. So yeah,
that's so sick. So then you drop it. Did you feel once you saw the cut, like once the cut was, did you edit it?
I did.
You edited so do you edit all your stuff?
No.
Okay, but you edited that one.
I edited that one. Yeah.
Save the money.
Yeah, and that's like such a specific, you know what I mean? It's so specific, and you know, I just knew like in order to get it exactly where I wanted it, like I was gonna need to put the time in myself. So
before you dropped it, leading up to, like for you, you know, it came to you and you felt like you needed to do it, but what was like the actual intention of it? Like what was the story? It was just telling that over again as like a modern day version of it. Was there anything else behind that besides that? It was just like, yo, what would it be like if it was now? Yeah,
I mean, really, it was just like it was just kind of like a dream, you know, like an expression more than anything of just like of how I interpret this incredible story that we all grew up with, you know what I mean? Like with my flavor and my twist, you know. If I had the bread for it, I'd have done a feature, like, you know what I mean? Like a true pilot, but it's like, you know, I have this idea that I want to express, and if it turns into something bigger, you know, fantastic, you know. But ultimately it was like, it's such a pure idea. I won't be able to get a wink of true sleep until I get it done. You know what I'm saying?
Say it.
Yeah, man, for that whole period I was just like, it's all I could think about. Even I'm doing all these jobs and stuff like that and still doing, you know, my client work, but at the same time it's like in the back of my Bel Aire. Even after we shot it, man, like I had 2 months straight of commercials. I couldn't touch the edit for 2 months, and I was going crazy, fam. I was like, oh, I just want to get in the bay and like make this thing. And you know, after the final keystroke, when the cut was done, I watched, I said, oof. You know what I mean? If this catches a spark, this could be out of here. You know what I mean?
You really felt like it?
Yeah. After I watched it, because I always say to myself, it's like, I'm not sitting there trying to impress anyone. It's like, if I get that feeling.
But you're impressed. If you're impressed, bro, like.
You know, well, I mean, I think anyone. You know what I mean? If you make something and, you know, Ben is just like, yo, like, oof, that I feel something. It's like, most likely it's going to resonate with people in one way or another. You know, hopefully it's meaningful to others. And so I really got that feeling. It was like a very, oof, man, like because it's all about tone. Man. It's just such a fine line with tone, and you go one too far this way, you really miss out on like the intention and the tone. And so I knew I hit the tone. I knew the art was where I wanted it. I knew visually, you know, I hit the mark of what I was looking to achieve, and that thing caught a spark. And it's interesting because like Will saw it within like, it was under 10,000 views when Overbrook hit me up. They were one of the first people to see it, actually.
That's what I'm saying. They got their ear to the ground.
Fam, I was like, how? Like,
they found creatives all day long. The people, you're just like, who is that?
It's crazy, fam. Like, yeah, they peeped it super quick and reached out really, really quickly. But because you know, you can't predict the internet, man. It's like, if it was a busy news day or whatever, or maybe there was an incident that took place, maybe it just kind of gets bad. You just never know, man. I never try to predict people. All I got to do is like, I'm gonna make what is pure and authentic to me, and at that point, it's up for people to interpret that material. Man. So that takes pressure off us as creators too. It's like, I'm gonna make the best thing I can, put my best foot forward, get a little bit better every time, and let the chips fall where they may.
Right, I love that. So when you finish it and you're about to drop it, did you have some sort of distribution plan, or was it just like, I'm gonna put this on What'd you do? Put it on Vimeo or YouTube?
So we put it on YouTube.
You
Yeah.
put it on YouTube.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So my partners on the project, Sun Square Media, were really at the heart of the distribution. Shout out John from TLD, Matt, all them cats, man, Joshua, like really, really great cats. And so I made it, and I was in cahoots with them on this entire project, man. And they were tremendous to work with. They're a production company out of Claremont.
Okay.
Yeah, and just really, really great guys. They more work in like the tech YouTube space.
Right.
They just been homies for a long time, you know. And so together with them formed a really very, very simple distribution plan. But, you know, we're going to put it on YouTube. And the hope was just to generate a little bit of a spark with it. You know what I mean? Like, let's put it out there. Let's all just share it on our platforms. And to be honest with you, it really just caught like wildfire.
That's crazy.
Somebody like posted it to Reddit, and then all of a sudden,
Reddit goes bananas.
Yeah, exactly. And at that point, it's out of here, and it starts getting ripped.
Yeah.
And I'm not on Facebook, but like homies were sending me numbers on Facebook, and it was like ripped in all these things, and like stupid, like 10 million views.
Someone's adding text above it, turning it into a meme, like and just getting gazillion views. That's crazy.
It's exactly what you're saying. Like, if Fresh Prince was blah 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 and all this, you know. So it was wild, man. Yeah.
So what was like? Did you? Because it had like notable articles we were talking about. Like I felt like I saw it on CNN or something. Do you remember seeing like the first article that picked it up?
Yeah. I forgot who was the first one, but it was one of like Rolling Stone and like, you know,
like so
BuzzFeed and like those. It was like, oh whoa, like this thing is way out of here, you know. And that was a wild week, and it was a blessing.
Yeah, I bet your life you were probably just on your computer and your phone, just like.
Funny enough, man, I was actually
Did you
like
have to work?
I mean, like, well, I was actually in LA at the time, but I was taking meetings, dude.
Were
like,
you?
Yeah, because like as all these publications are coming out, like all of Hollywood, like every agency and like production company and studio in town is reaching out to meet. You
That's
see what I'm
so
saying?
sick.
And so I was really just fielding those, and like, you know,
Yeah.
it was very clear that this would be a turning point in my career. You know what I mean? I was able to finally pivot into writing, directing like I wanted to do, and so I was really just gearing up for that.
Did you think that could even possibly happen, that all these agencies would be knocking at your door trying to get you from this? Like, did you think that this could be like, oh, this is a good way for me to showcase my ability to write and direct? Like this piece specifically could, if it catches some momentum, it could get the right people's eyeballs on it. Yeah. I felt that, especially after watching it. You see what I'm saying? Before that, it was just focusing on the art and expressing what I wanted to express. But after watching, I said, you know what? This could be out of here. You know what I mean? This could really be a turning point, you know, in terms of my trajectory and what I wanted to eventually be doing. I thought my pivot, to be honest with you, Ben, like I thought it's something that would happen several years down the road. Yeah. You know, oh, absolutely, man. Right. Absolutely. You know, there are people that work their entire lives for the chance to pivot in a meaningful way into writing and directing who just don't find the opportunity. You know what I mean? So I try to never act like I can predict what the universe will put in front of me. You see what I'm saying? All I can do is control the art I make, how I treat people. You see what I'm saying? It's the only two things to focus on. But after watching, I said, you know what? This could be something that allows me to do that. And thankfully it did, man. It really did. And more than I could ever imagine, you know? Traditionally, it makes sense to be repped, obviously, for freelance creators that are like kind of underdogs. What is the benefits of being represented?
Yeah, man, absolutely. I mean, you have a layer of
and you have management too. Did
do.
you have that before the Bel Aire thing?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so that came with this whole.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing representation that's helpful is they're able to vet things. You see what I'm saying? So you have people who know your goals, you know, as a director or whatever it is, even whatever you're rep for, right? You know, you have people who they have your best interests in mind. They know your goals, and with that, they're able to sift through. I mean, 'cause there's so many inquiries coming in, and I'm sure the same thing with you. It's like there's so many inquiries coming in, and like you can't go through them all. Right. You've got to be able to focus on like the task at hand. So to have people there who are able to vet those things and to say, hey, this is a good opportunity, and you know they have your back. Right. It's really, really important, and you got to pick wisely, man, with your rep. You know, you don't want to be bouncing around to different agencies and stuff like that. It's like, you know, you want to, so it's a very important decision to make, and thankfully, you know, you got to make like 100%. Quickly.
Shit, because I mean, if you think about it, it's like you'll have anxiety thinking about what those emails could be if you're handing it off to someone else, where it's really hard. I think one of the biggest struggles for creatives is like letting things go and being willing to just find your path and do your path and let someone else rock it out for you in the, you know, behind the scenes and just trust them. What did they do? Like, you know, you only really hear about this with like artists, like song pops. Now everyone wants to sign them and they're getting wine and dine. And this whole thing was the experience just kind of like a very like, hey, come in, we'll talk with you. We'll let you know what we do. We'll see if we vibe. Was anyone trying to like, I don't know, buy your ass off? Here's a pair of shoes. Like, we really want you. Here's a new camera. Is the experience like that at all? Or is it anything like what rappers would experience? You know what I mean? Like just popping out of nowhere and having people trying to buy them out or like get that equity. You know what I mean? Yeah,
no, it's really, really interesting. I mean, like, I'll be honest with you, fam. Like, so CAA was like really, really on top of signing me. Yeah. They jumped in right away. Like Talitha, my motion picture agent, she actually DM'd me on Instagram.
Wow.
And so we met for coffee and like, we just really hit it off on a personal vibe. And so like, you know, I took a few meetings, but it was very quickly realized like, this is where I belong. You know what I mean? And so, but you know, every situation's different. You know, with them, it was like I didn't want that. You see what I'm saying? That's the biggest thing, is like what I was looking for is just something real and authentic, like people who I can trust. You know, in 2 years, like I still want to be in business with this person, right? You know, in like a real meaningful way. And so like after I really met with her and I met my TV agent, Angela, you know, and I connected, it's like, this is who I want to like build my career with. You see what I'm saying? And it was from an authentic place. I didn't feel like there was any sort of ulterior motive, like, oh, let's do this and try and like scheme. It's like, nah, like we want to be in business. We really believe in you. We want to listen to you and hear what you want to do with your career. And then we want to be here to support it. And they have.
That's amazing. What up, creators? I want to remind you about our community at jointhehomies.com. The homies are the squad of legends who support what we do here at Black with No Cream so we can continue to build this platform into the best educational space for content creators on earth. And in return for that support, we give you a bunch of sick perks all month long, like access to our live stream tutorials and hangouts, bonus podcast episodes, and so much more. Check us out at jointhehomies.com. Let's go. So at what point, you know, you said Will saw it before it had even 10,000 views or whatever. What point did they reach out to you? Did they say anything to you?
Oh, yeah.
Because I mean, I saw you did the YouTube thing. You're down with him. Where were you guys, like Miami or something?
Yeah.
Sick. What was it? What was that? Like, how did that happen?
Yeah, man. So they reached out and, you know, we connected in Calabasas. And so, you know, sitting with Miguel, shout out Miguel, Will's manager, great guy.
Okay.
And Lucas, you know, who's the head of content over Overbrook. And, you know, we linked and they were just asking questions about like,
why?
Yeah, 100%. You know, it blindsided everyone. You know what I mean? And, you know, I was FaceTiming Will, you know, he's on the set of Bad Boys 3 in Miami. And he was just extremely supportive and just, you know, showed so much love for my concept and my take on the Fresh Prince. And, you know, at that point, you know, they talked about possibly, you know, meeting in person and connecting about it. And then it just seems like a day later is when it really just started to all compound in terms of views and like the looks and stuff like that. But they're really on top of it. And I will say this, man, like they're so genuine. Like, Will, I mean, he's just like a really, really, really good man. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like he's just like a good dude. Like, you know, I mean, I can't say enough about that entire camp and just how great it's been working with them and, you know, just good people, man. Just really good people. So.
What was it? What was like for you to go to Miami and get to like actually meet him in person and get to kick it? And like, I mean, think how funny that is. It's like you just had this random idea in Kansas City about this person that we all looked up to when we were kids. You know what I mean? And then for him to care enough for you to like, come here, come here, man. Let's chat. You know what I mean? What was it like? The video is cool. Like watching that is like, it's dope for you to have an opportunity to see that, but to meet a mentor like that and obviously have him in your corner. Like, yes, it's great to be read by this agency, bro. Like you're like getting the cosign from him now. You know what I mean? That's a massive cosign.
Yeah, man. Yeah, tremendous, bro. It's just an incredible experience, fam. And like right off the bat, it was love. Like I remember the first, you know, I fly in that night and like the next day I was on the set, you know, and like it's like a real early call time. It's like 6 a.m. We're in Miami and they live me up, you know, because they have like their crew or whatever. They want to capture me and Will. And so I'm just chilling there, you know, on set and they're about to like block it out or whatever. And like, yeah, Will's going to show up and we want to just like capture you guys meeting, right? And so, and Martin Lawrence walks by, it's like, oh, like, what's up? You know what I mean? What's up, man? Yeah. And then like I turn to my left and I remember because it's like really early and it's like got like kind of this rising sun, like I see like a silhouette of like a really like, you know what I'm saying? I see like a silhouette and I'm like, is that?
He like knew the perfect position to walk in. He's like, right here's the angle I need. All right, guys, he's going to come in. I'll have him lobbed up. and you see where the sun's setting today? I'll be there tomorrow.
It was wild, man. It was like, yeah, like the light was just like crossing the horizon, and like I see like arms widespread. Yo, yo, yo.
Yeah.
You know, like, what's up, man? And, you know, he gives me a big hug, man. Yeah. He's like, look around, baby. This is all for you. You know, like just super, just like warm, man.
What
just like
guy.
this warmth, and you know, showed love, and so it's beautiful to be able to spend time like on the set, and then just our conversations, you know, going to dinner and just connecting and trading stories and hearing his experiences, just really learning.
Right.
You know, that's the biggest thing about it, man. I think this part of the Midwest is like, you know, we want to do the work, man. We want to jump in and we want to do the work, and we want to get better at what we do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so to be able to sit here and hear his experiences and learn from him, you know, and soak it all in was just a beautiful feeling.
Right.
So
what'd your family think at that point?
Oh man, everybody's just extremely excited, man.
They're having a parade for you when you go back to Kansas City from Miami.
yeah, fam. You know, just really in disbelief. You know, it meant a lot for the town.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. For some, I mean, I love my city, man. I really champion my city. You know, I rep it. I'll rep it till the day I die. You know, and so like for this to happen, like everybody in town was just they felt like they, you know, had the experience and opportunity, which is what I want.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? It's like, so. It meant a lot to my city, and it meant an awful lot to my family, bro.
Man, what an incredible experience, bro. Like,
yeah, it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing, and just the beginning, though.
I know, right? Yeah, so that happens. So what like going forward, you know, was it instantly into you shoot videos? That came like months later? You started that production, or what were you doing after that? I mean, everything just shook you up, and now you're signing to people. You got management, you got emails coming in like crazy. Like, what's your path like after that?
Yeah, man. So in the following months, bro, it was just so many meetings. Mm-hmm. I mean, literally 3 meetings a day, like bouncing here, just meeting studio heads, you know, meeting different production companies, you know, meeting different distributors, like. Right. You know, my agency manager just sending it on meetings, you know, and you're fielding all these up. Oh, here's the script. All these scripts are coming in. And like I'm sitting there, I'm just like, I want to get back to making stuff.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And so like that's when I just pinned you shoot videos real quick.
They're giving you everything, and you're like,
well, you know, it's like,
but when you don't find something that clicks, though, right?
It, man, that's it. And I told him, and that's the thing about, once again, it's like sometimes. This is another aspect about like getting signed. It's like you got to remember that it's a partnership. Like you don't work for them,
right?
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
They work for you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's you're doing this thing together, and so like you don't have to say yes to something just because it comes across your desk,
right?
You see what I'm saying? Sometimes I think there's like a pressure that, you know, we feel like as directors or, you know, whoever it is, of like, oh, my agent put me up for this, or like sent me this script or whatever, right. And like, you know, maybe I should tell them I'm interested in it, you know, so they don't, it's like, nah, like just be real, you know what I mean? And there was stuff coming across the desk that just wasn't really for me,
right?
You see what I'm saying? And like I wanted to get back to making my stuff, and I needed something that was a little bit longer as well. Like all my stuff that I've done, you know, was like under 15 minutes.
Right.
You know, I feel like I needed something to show that I can handle storytelling in more of a long format with some of the TV and feature stuff that I'm going to be doing.
Yeah.
And so You Shoot Videos came about. You partnered with Adorama, you know, who sponsored the project.
How did that come to be? Was that through your agency and everything? They found like a partner for it?
No.
That was you?
Yeah, that was my own relationship. Yeah,
wow.
Man. Yeah, so Adorama was sponsoring me for about a year before.
Okay.
For the DP stuff I was doing. And so hit them up. I pitched them my idea, which I'm so glad they say yes. It's kind of a radical idea.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's kind of radical. And also, like, if you think of like,
most people are like, no one cares about those guys.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you just kind of think of like the subject matter and like, you know, the fact there's like a gun in the story, you know what I mean? It's like
for a brand to attach to it, it's like, and he gets shot at.
Yeah.
At the end,
I mean, it's a little bit radical.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like at first I was just like, I don't know if they're gonna go for it. I'm gonna pitch it though. And like, you know, Jacob, like shout out to Jacob, who is the head, you know, a marketing guy at Adorama, really, really good guy, and he was a producer on it. It's like, let's do it. You see what I'm saying? They jumped right in and
that's so dope.
Showed so much support, and we made it, bro. And so that's another thing. It's like we can't expect like our agents, our managers, like we've got to take our careers in our own hands at every level. Like Will Smith is Will Smith because he's Will Smith.
Facts.
Not because it's CIA.
Right.
Not because it's just like it's Will Smith.
Yeah.
Same thing Ben.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you are who you are because it's who you are and it's what you make and it's your heart and it's how you create. You feel me? And so that's the same thing how I try to approach my art with everything I make. It's like with intention. If I'm gonna make it, it's because I'm passionate about it. You feel me?
Yeah. Damn, bro. That's so crazy. So what was like the partnership? Were you just seeking out like funding for it and that stuff? Because you go back to Kansas City, you shot everything in Kansas City. Yeah.
Yep.
You had some talent crazy talent.
Yeah, man.
Everyone killed that shit.
Thank you, bro.
Man, killed it.
Yeah, shout out to everybody. You know, Jamie Addison, Darnell, Denzel Whitaker. I mean,
every line in the credit line. Shout out to these people. Like
yeah,
everyone
Petey,
that put,
my boy Petey McGee, Rufus Burns. I mean, the entire squad was just really terrific, man.
I love the dude that finds inspiration in wanting to help him out and becomes his boy.
Aaron, yeah, man.
Like that's like the illest thing is for me coming out to California. Like I resonate with it so well because to me, I just wanted to elevate like my homie Andrew, who's gave me my first opportunity when I moved out here on Chris Brown's documentary, but he was directing it and I just wanted to find ways to elevate what he was doing so I could help him out in his process because I didn't know anything about production. I just moved out here. I'm living on the floor. I don't understand it. And I was like, yo, what do you need? Like, do you need coffee? You want a refill? Do you need help? Do you want me to open up the project for you? You want me to do any of this? You know what I mean? Like dump footage, whatever. Him just being like, yo, let me carry your Pelican, bro. Like, I'm like, yeah, that's who everyone getting started should be him. Yeah, man. Like find the inspiration however you can and be a part of the picture however you can. It doesn't have to be like the glam. You don't need to wait till you get a call to be the shooter or to be that whatever it is. Like, I love that. Like that. I'm so glad that piece is out there because so many people are going through that kid's path. Yeah. You went through that path. I went through that. Like we all somehow story, end up in that. You know what I mean?
That's the biggest thing I wanted people to take away from it. That's not just my story. That's not just Moji's story.
Right.
That's your story.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's these guys' story. It's like it's something that we can all really share on this journey as filmmakers. You know, is all these through lines that you see in that film is something that we can really share collectively. That's why I really think it's such a special film. Is that I hope so many people felt heard through it. You know what I mean? And felt like understood. Like that. You know, I got so many really amazing, you know, notes and messages and emails of people who were just like, bro, like I was thinking about like stopping, you know, until I saw this and I really felt represented for the first time. I didn't feel so alone.
Damn.
So, I mean, this business can get lonely, especially when you're starting out, bro.
Yes. I
mean, you can get really, really lonely, man. Right. So just to in some way like encourage someone to like let them know like, no, keep going, man. Just like keep going. You can get exactly where you want, bro. No greater feeling.
I literally sat here and watched it right there, and then I think Dave came in and I was like, watch, dude, you have to watch this like tonight when we get done. Like I just pounded through this and I'm like sitting here rewatching scenes. I'm like, this thing is amazing. I'm like, it's so real. But like to go back to that, where did you meet to find the story? Like where did you meet him? Because he was like he's a Florida shooter.
Yeah, he's from Florida guy. Yeah, so I was shooting a project for the NFL in Florida. We brought him on. He DM'd me like a few months before, like, yo, man. He's just, you know, it was really, really dope. He was just like a fan of the work.
Whatever you need, I got you.
Exactly, man. He was just hungry, you know. Right. And I checked out his IG. I'm like, this he's got some talent, man.
Yeah.
And you know, I just
spec work. Yeah. Anything you can do but look how quickly that gave you the window of time where you go to see if it's worth like could be a weirdo, and then you go and look like no, if they can understand that at least, then all right. Yeah, that's man. So important.
Yeah, just a good kid, and I could tell he had a good heart. And so I said, yo, like I think I'll be down there soon, you know what I mean? If this ends up happening, like I'll pass your name on to production. We'll see if we could bring you on. So it ended up working out. And at lunch, you know, he was just kind of like a little bit distant from like kind of everyone. He was just, you could just kind of tell a lot was on his mind. So I was like, yo, you good? And he was like, yeah, I'm kind of going through a little bit of, you know, he's like, can I talk to you? I said, yeah, can I tell you something? You can tell me anything, bro. And he tells me about this story with this cat, you know, who's waving a gun, you know, on set. Yeah. The shot goes off and, you know, goes to the lens of the camera and ricochets out. Like the camera literally saved his life.
He
told me that, man. And like, you know, I was just so moved, you know, at this young man and this dude could have been dead 3 days earlier. Like it
happened 3 days before your shoot.
3 days before the shoot, bro.
Man.
Yeah, the shoot was on a Monday. That happened to him on Friday. So this really traumatic thing happened to this young man.
And he's right back to it.
He's right back to it, man. You know, right back on the horse. And so for him to share that with me, I was really moved, you know, that he would feel, you know, that he'd share that with me, you know. And I told him right away, look, dude, like, I don't know when I'm going to be able to do it, but I really want to tell the story because it really reminded me of very similar experiences, you know, maybe experiences you had of like, you know, ain't got no business doing it, but you're in these situations with cats. And, you know, they got guns and you're filming them. You're doing the low angle with the wide angle, so the gun looks mega big. You feel me? It's like, you know, you're in these situations, bro. And like the fact that he almost lost his life over that, bro. It's like, I'm like, man, I have to tell this story. I have to let people know that like, yeah, man, like I get kind of choked up even thinking about it, bro, because it's just like, it's just hard, man. It's just like, it's so, and I love that kid so much, bro, and it's just so hard being in that situation and just not knowing what to do on your path, you know. And it not, you know, in that moment he could have just given up and just said like, this isn't for me, like, and the fact that like he had enough heart to like show back up and like want to like better his situation, like find his way, and now he's continuing to get better and better every time out, man. It's just like, it's just beautiful, man. And like I was just so honored and moved to tell that story, you know. So
incredible, bro.
Yeah, man.
I'm so glad you did that. That I mean, for him too, how moving. Like,
yeah, man.
But it's so crazy, like how stupid this shit can be over. Like, to me, the worst part about it is I feel like these kids and anyone in production is always like the lowest on the food chain,
right?
But the most needed.
Oh yeah, man, that's right.
Like these people, the rappers, of course, all these people, and for us, it's like, well, we look up to these music videos and we want to do that, and so it's like the first option you got is the only option you got is to shoot these shitty music videos for no money, and at some point it can get dumb dangerous. And like for you to showcase that the way you did is A, good for the community, B, it's good for literally the people to understand what it's like to be in these positions.
That's exactly it, bro. It's like so many people don't know the grind that we've all gone through, and some are still really going through in a very, very real way, like just trying to survive and trying to like reach our dreams and our goals in this business, man. And it's just not easy, man.
No, it's crazy.
It's just not.
So you drop that and the same thing happens again. You're getting a storm of publicity on it. Like, do you recall anything from that piece? Like what was like for you? I mean, that's me I hit you up right away. Yeah. I was like, oh cool, he just responded back to me. Dope. Power of this dumbass blue check mark, because I literally had just got, this is funny because I was like, I need to get my account verified so when I DM people for podcasts it sticks out in their messages. Because I send you that same message, I guarantee you had 10,000 of them and I would have got lost in the abyss. But it's like, that's so funny, but that was like the first time it worked. Like it like just happened and I was like, oh dope. And then I messaged you and you like responded right away. I'm like, oh cool, he saw that, it like worked. I'm like, I hope I get him on the show. Like that was so incredible, I need to hear this story, you know. But like what was the response for you, like releasing it? Did you do any like screenings or anything? Like I feel like it just was on the internet.
Yeah, man, it's funny, like, you know, Adorama, and like there was a lot of conversation around like how you want to distribute it. And I'll be honest, man, I'm like, I just want to get this out to the people. Like I want to get it out to the people who I made this for, which was people who started how we did. Right. You know what I mean? Like in the gutter, like just trying to make it work, bro. So like that's the biggest thing with it, because there was talks about like, oh, maybe we do festivals and like so there, get it adapted. I'm like, I want to get this to the people, bro. Right. Like at a grassroots level, I don't want there to be a high barrier of entry for people to be able to see this. I want to get it to people right away in a way they can watch it very, very simply and very, very easily. And so direct to internet release, put it up on my Vimeo, you know, just very, very, very simple with it. And, had a little bit of a distribution strategy with Adorama that we worked out with how we'd push it initially. And then it was just really organic, bro. Crazy. Which is, I think, the best type of traction, bro. Of course. When it's organic, I never want people to like feel gamed or manipulated or marketed to. It's like, nah, like I want you to watch this because you want to watch it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Absolutely. And that's why I think once again it really resonated with people, is they can feel like my intention was very pure, and it was, bro. I just want people to feel this and like see what we go through and what we've gone through to try and like make this dream happen. Absolutely. You feel me? So yeah, man, like so much support right off rip, bro. Just like, countless DMs. I really feel bad because there's so many people I just couldn't respond to.
It's impossible.
But I mean, just so much support and so many people just saying how heard they felt. You know, I feel heard, bro. Like I've never felt like you told my story. Yeah. You know what I mean, bro? Yeah. I'm just like, that's an honor, man. Like there's no higher honor than that for somebody, like for you to like tell somebody's story and them to feel themselves through that story in like a real way, bro. Oh my goodness, dude. I was a puddle for a day, fam. Just for real, looking at these things, I'm just like, damn, dude, like the power of what we get a chance to do. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like how beautiful is that? What a blessing, fam.
Know, man.
You know?
That's hard work. That's years of anticipation and struggle, you know what I mean?
That's right. Yeah, man.
So with that coming out, like what, moving forward, you've been teasing stuff on Instagram all the time, like coming soon or something. Like, I'm like, what are these stills from? You know, what I mean? Like, so you're moving into, obviously you're creating way more. You have, I know there's stuff up your sleeve.
Yeah, man.
Like, what is your plan now with that coming out? Like, how did that elevate the trajectory of where you're gonna go now? Like, from Bel Aire to signing is one thing, and then to create this as your I don't know if it was the second piece that you've done since then, but one that took storm.
Right.
You know what I mean? How'd that shake things up for you?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, it really, I think one thing that it allowed me to do is hone my craft in something that that's long form, right? And so I think of like the features that I want to make and the feature ideas and the TV ideas and the TV projects that I have in the works right now for next year, you know, doing something that's 40 minutes, you know, putting 40 minutes on screen.
Right.
I mean, that I learned so much from that experience about like how to meaningfully tell a story in that way, you know, and once again, just getting better at it. So like having that bit of collateral to say like, no, like I've done long form now,
right.
You know what I mean? That's so valuable as I step into these new opportunities in 2020 and beyond with what I want to be doing, which is long form, you know, long form storytelling, bro. So a lot of very, very exciting stuff in the works, man. And I'm just really excited to tell these stories. Man, fam, like there's just it's a, I don't know, I just feel blessed, bro. Like like sometimes I wake up and I'm just like, it feels like I'm still the same kid in line buying the T2I, man.
Right.
Like I really mean that, dude.
Yeah.
So anybody who's watching, if like, just know that like you can do it. I promise you, like you can do it, man. Like that's where it all started, and I'm the same kid with the T2I, bro.
Man, I love this. I love this interview. Let me open this. I have some questions from our community too. I want to get to those before we wrap it up.
Okay.
You're an important dude. We tried to get this interview like months ago.
Oh man.
I know.
Yeah,
you were swamped. I was like, trust me, I understand.
Yeah, bro. I'm glad to be sitting down with you, and you inspire me, bro. Just seeing what you're doing, and you know, not only with your work being amazing, you know, just this community that you're cultivating. I'm blessed to sit with you, man, and hopefully if somebody walks away with something, I mean, that's, you know, that blesses me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
fam?
thank you.
For
No,
real.
that's the goal, bro. Like we gotta help everyone else because it's just not easy to navigate through. You know what I mean?
It's not, man. It's not. It's a
well, you know, it's people like you. That's what we gotta do.
so it's a labyrinth, man.
Let's see. Let's bang through some of these questions.
Okay.
Some of this we might have, you might have touched on, but we'll get back to it. What is the hardest lesson this is from my boy Kaiser. What is the hardest lesson that you've ever had to learn being a creator, and when can we expect a feature length Bel Aire? Yeah, I bet you got that question 1,000,000 times.
Oh yeah. So the first question was,
what's the hardest lesson you've ever had to learn being a creator?
Hardest lesson I've ever had to learn being a creator. You got to understand how to let go. I think that's the biggest thing. Sometimes you'll make something. Well, I think oftentimes, probably every time you make something, you look back and you say, if I'd have done this,
right.
this, I wish I'd. You gotta let go.
Right.
It's out there. Let it go. Understand that like that's a feeling that will never change. And so if you can find a way to move past that, you can truly grow. But if you're holding on and like hanging on to these things,
right.
that really, it's one thing, like learn from it, like kind of reshape your thinking and say, oh, like I should have done that. But like the second you drift into the negative and say, oh, I should have done that, therefore like that's a bad piece.
Right.
It's not true.
Right.
It's not true.
Yeah.
It's just a lesson. You
right.
know, and it's baby steps. And so being able to let go, I think, is very, very important. It's like that next play mentality. Even when you're on set, you know, and say, you know, you shot a scene and, you know, your AD is rushing you or something like that. And you're like, fuck, five more minutes, let it go.
Yep.
It's done.
Yep.
Like you can't let that taint what you're about to shoot next. Like the next half, you still got a crew to lead.
Right. Yeah.
You know, say if you're a DP or director, like you still got an entire crew that's looking to you. So like as a leader, you have to learn to let go.
Yeah, I love that. It's great advice.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jackie says, what's the most memorable one-liner piece of advice that you've ever gotten?
Ooh, one-liner piece of advice I've ever gotten. Keep it jazz.
Keep it jazz?
Yep.
Who said that?
My homie Conductor Williams. Shout out Denzel, man.
Damn.
Cat in Kansas City, who incredible beat maker, man. My boy D. Keep it jazz, fam.
I like that.
You know what I mean? He always said something, and like I really think about it, I'm like, damn, like, because something that's really prevalent in my style is like a very particular way I light. You see what I'm saying? Like very detailed is like really my style. That's really where I really zone in. But I gotta sit there. I'm like, if I could have absolutely everything perfect, would I even want that?
Right.
Because like the second is perfect, it loses.
You've stopped being interested.
Yeah, it loses texture too.
You're like, oh, I'm the greatest. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, like at a grassroots level, like with the frame, it's like the dirt, you know, the texture, like that's texture. You see what I'm saying? And that's jazz. Like when them cats, like Miles, you know, like Miles and Coltrane, a little squeaker, like a note that was fucked up a little bit, like that was the flavor.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That was like that was the grit. You see what I'm saying? That's what made it raw. And like some of my favorite. There's this song called Blue and Green off Miles Davis's that Kind of Blue record, and he plays this like high note, and he like kind of like squeaks a little bit, like, or you know, it kind of flubs it a little bit with the horn or whatever, and that's like my favorite part of it. Yeah. And that's the jazz and what we do. You see what I'm saying?
Because they could redo it. Like they could, we can make that better.
100%. They could have gone back like, nah, I don't want that. But it's like that's the flavor and rawness and authenticity. That's what makes it human.
So true.
Keep it jazz, man.
Keep it jazz. I like that. Mark says, how did you grow from a one-man band videographer to having your own crew? Like what would have been the time where you did transition and you found like, wow, this is crazy. I have this person helping me, but you're so used to flying to Jersey in two bags carry on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. It's hard to say like one defining moment, but you know, with the inquiries I was getting, you know, there was more money involved. And so you have a few choices, especially if you're doing like direct to client stuff. It's like, we've got 10 grand to do this. So you can do two things. The first thing you could do is say, I'm gonna keep all that bread and do it myself. I'm gonna bang it out. I'm gonna try to figure it out. But the thing about it, the work isn't gonna be as good.
You're gonna be stressed as shit.
And you're gonna be stressed, right? And so that's the first thing you do. The second thing you do is say you can break bread and say, okay, like I'm gonna bring on a little crew for this, and I'm gonna free up myself for I'm gonna free up more bandwidth and make a better piece that will find me better opportunities in the future. So you can play for now. I say this in You Shoot Videos. There's now money and then there's future money. You see what I'm saying?
I love that.
So if you want to play small ball forever, keep the bread now, and your work won't get better. You got to play for the future money.
That's so tight.
Make better work. People come in and they'll have more money to offer. Higher tier clients will come in. You see what I'm saying? So that's the transition. Don't be greedy. Break bread. Make better work, and I promise you it'll all work out in the end.
Facts. Let's see. We got two more. One more. The one's just like a straight compliment. This is a great and relatable film. Loved it.
Wow.
Talking about You Shoot Videos.
Thank you.
But the last thing was from Key. And Key says, what was it like finding talent? Well, we talked about that for You Shoot Videos. Did you already have some actors in mind, or did you find a crew that could adapt to roles in the film? Love the film. That shit was fire. So I guess for them, they're just saying for the actors, like, did you have anyone specific while you were writing that you were like, oh, this person's definitely going to play him or her? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, good questions.
The rappers are so good.
Yeah.
Are they real rappers?
Are you talking about Bricks and Bricks and so those cats are actually like MCs as well. Yeah, man.
Because they had the swag to it, and like it, you know what I mean? It was just like, it was great.
100%. The interesting one quick little note before I answer that question. So those tracks, like those actual songs, were from different cats. Like the cats who actually recorded the songs were different people.
Really?
Yeah, they were different people, and they made those songs just for the film. Yeah,
that's dope.
So my boy Rashid is actually my cousin in Portland. Yeah, he's based in Portland. My boy Rashid did the Street God joint for Tez at the beginning. So that was my boy.
So hard.
Yeah, that was my boy Sheed, and then my boy Easy McCoy, he's based in Portland as well. He did the song at the end, the Bricks joint. Yeah. And so they came through and blessed us with that, man. So big shout out to them. They're terrific artists.
Killed it.
Yeah, fam. So yeah, in terms of the casting, bro, like we were really diligent. It's funny. So like Moji in my mind was Ashton Sanders.
Okay.
Who's he's like Chiron in Moonlight.
Oh yeah.
The teenager.
Yeah.
Like I always felt like he gave me that energy. And so we reached out to him, but he was unavailable for it.
Oh damn.
But it's funny, Denzel reached out to me on IG, Denzel Whitaker, about another project that he was actually producing. And so he was like, yo, dude, like, would love to talk to you about this, like producing this project, would see if you're interested. So we jumped on a call, and bro, we just were talking about life and all this stuff. Yeah. And I think like a day before I got the news that Ashton couldn't do it. So I was back to the drawing board with my lead for Moji. And so we're talking, and he's just telling me like about his story and what he's doing. He's like, yeah, man, I was shooting low budget music. A lot of people don't know is like I'm shooting music videos and like trying to like grind with my little Sony.
He was.
Denzel. And so I was like, oh my. And so here he is pitching me on his project. I'm about to pitch him.
Yeah, right.
You feel me?
Well, I have you.
Yeah, bro, literally I started the conversation where I said, bro, I don't think this is by accident. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell you about what I'm trying to do. I'm making this film called You Shoot Videos. And point blank period, I think, like I told him that bluntly, like, I think you're Moji. I think you're this character. I'm going to send you the script, read it. And we worked it out. You know, he's working on The Purge as well in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And so, like, there was a little bit of a scheduling, you know, some scheduling things we had to work out, but man, he fell in love with it. And so that was just like the universe.
That's wild.
Yeah, fam, that's how that came about, man. Like, I had no idea Denzel was going to be Moji, but
damn.
Yeah. So that's how it came about. And then everyone else, Jamie Addison, who played Chloe, talking about the spec work.
Right.
I had her in mind for that character. I kind of wrote that with her in mind. She's based off some other women in my life who like gave me some game like coming up.
Right.
But I knew right off the bat she'd be perfect for that. And then Rufus Burns, that's my boy, close collaborator with Thickest Thieves, fam. I knew he'd play Dante, his brother.
Yeah.
So those were mine. Everyone else, man, you know, we casted. We
That's
put out
crazy.
We casted the net, and Petey, I'd known Petey for a long time. We'd been wanting to work together. We played Tez.
Okay.
The rap at the beginning.
Right.
Bricks.
He killed it.
Yeah, Lou. I knew Lou, who played Bricks. I knew him for a minute. And Darnell, I'd never worked with Darnell, who played Aaron.
Yeah.
The friend.
Yeah.
Lives in LA. He's from the town too, though. He's from Kansas City. We had a ton of mutual friends. Go to the same barber. Like, that's my guy.
Right.
And you know, we'd been talking for a minute, and he read for this and killed it. And so that's how we all joined forces, fam.
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy how that all comes together.
It's a blessing, bro.
Yeah.
Ain't it a miracle that that films get made?
Yes.
I mean, there's so many moving parts and so many things that have to come into play, bro. It's just every time like you rap something, it's just like, man, I'm
because it could have been someone else. It could have been anybody else that did this and that, and it didn't make sense. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
But all the pieces of the puzzle were there. That's what's ill about that.
That's exactly right, bro.
So
exactly
crazy,
right,
man. That's so incredible. The damn, yeah. There's like, you could ask a million questions about this shit because it's just it was such a good piece. I hope everyone listening has at least, as soon as you're done with this, after you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you should go and watch his stuff and subscribe to his whole thing too, because it is insane. Like, these pieces are so
and watch
fire.
all these interviews, bro. Like, seriously, so much wisdom that you're offering people and all of the guests before, you know, it's just a really, really special thing. So thank you for being you, bro, and thank you for doing this, man. It means a lot to a lot of people, fam, for real.
I appreciate that, dude. No, thanks for coming. Before I have you go, so this is what I do. I'll tell everyone that's listening, if they made it this far into the interview, we're like an hour 30, to go to your Instagram, right?
Okay.
They're gonna go to your Instagram, and they're gonna tag me at Ben Reverse World, and they're gonna put this hashtag that you're about to pick, so that we both know that they made it this far into the podcast and listen to it.
Okay.
So they may, whatever your most recent post is, by the time you're listening, whoever's listening to this right now, they're gonna go find this thing. Could be a year from now, but that way we know. My favorite thing is this. When I tell people this, they look at the logo.
Yeah.
They
just
always
like,
look at
is
the
there
logo.
a play on words? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Anything you want. Say anything you
What
want.
you thinking, bro? You got something?
No, you can't talk to him.
Is that cheating? Is that cheating?
Nope.
Let's see.
He had an answer immediately after every question, and I stun him with this one.
Oh my lord, man. Dang, fam.
I always want to help, but I'll never do it.
Oof. Well, give me an example of some of the past ones. How about that?
I mean, it can range, bro. Like, what was damn, honestly, I forget. One of my friends, he's a rapper. His name's Cal. He just said, "Eat my ass." That was weird. Someone said Trump. I don't know, and that was one.
Okay.
What are some other ones? Some funny ones.
I like that. Yeah. Keep it jazz.
That's the one I wanted to say, and then he gave you up this. I wanted to see what you came
y'all
up
in
with.
cahoots?
No, that's just what I was thinking. I would be like, keep it jazz,
Hey,
fire,
keep
but
it
you ain't
jazz,
saying
man.
it yet. That's
Hashtag
hilarious.
keep it jazz.
There we go. Anything else that you want people to do? Follow you? Anything? Whatever you want.
You know, hit me
I'll
up.
put all the links in the description.
Yeah, man. You know, just to know that this is possible. I think that's the biggest thing. Please don't stop, man. Keep going. You know, keep tuning in to Black with No Cream. It's a really, really important platform that you're providing, and it's a beautiful thing. So just keep going, keep striving, and you know, every time you pick up the camera, just try and get a little bit better. Take small steps forward every day, and I promise you'll be where you want to be, probably sooner than you think. So just push yourself creatively, man. Let the creative drive you. So
love this. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it, man.
Of course.
For real. I'm like,
Of course,
this
man.
was a good interview.
Thanks for having me, family.
Thank you,
Of
dude.
course.
Thank you. All right. That's it for episode 142. Huge thanks to Morgan Cooper for coming on the show. Listen, each week I'm interviewing some of the most talented creators in the world. If you've ever wanted to ask them a question directly, now is your motherfucking chance. By becoming a member of our Patreon community, you can be a part of the Q&A experience with each of our guests. Not only do our Patreon members get to have their name and question read on the podcast, but they also get to access all the other amazing perks that we have to offer, like bonus podcast episodes, exclusive live streams, detailed behind the scenes breakdowns, and so much more. You can check out all of our perks over at jointhehomies.com. We appreciate you guys for listening to this episode. Subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Instagram at Black Window Cream, and make sure to send this podcast out to anyone else that you think would benefit from hearing it, because we love you. And we'll see you in a few days, you